try to get him some help. And there was, really not much help.
This man, who CBC has agreed not to identify due to safety concerns while the suspect is still at large, says he was watching TV Saturday night. Around 10 p.m., he heard 5 gunshots. When he went outside, he saw 2 young kids screaming for help, trying to carry a boy who had been shot in the chest.
They're like, help, help. So I run across the street. I helped them bring the body to my neighbor's house, the child. And he was still alive. So we laid him on the ground, kept him on his side because he was having troubles breathing. Just kind of try to comfort him, I guess, and give him some water and trying to keep him from not dying.
He says he and others called 911.
I was on hold for like 10 minutes, and we hailed down a car, and we put him in the back of the car and took him to the hospital over here, which doesn't do emergency, but we didn't know what else to do.
Toronto police say they received about a half-dozen calls about the shooting. The first sound of gunshots call came in at 10:01 p.m. and waited for 6 minutes and 43 seconds. Police say officers and EMS were on scene at 10:11. The victim was transported to a different hospital where they were pronounced deceased.
It's ridiculous. 15-year-old died, and no one's answering. I think my neighbor over there, they got back to him after 15 minutes. So, but we were like, I had to hang up because I had to carry him and get him into the back of the car. So I couldn't hold my phone or anything.
TPS has had issues with people calling 911 and being left in queue. It's something CBC Toronto has reported on extensively. There's no information to suggest the boy's life could have been saved if people weren't on hold, but in emergency situations, every second counts.
It's not as though this is the first time it's happened. They've been having problems with their emergency responses for 3 or 4 years, and they just don't seem to be able to get it right.
Police say the shooter fled before they arrived. There's no suspect information available at this time. Police spent Sunday combing for evidence, deploying a drone and dogs.
This investigation is so early right now. We have investigators going through evidence. We're speaking with witnesses. We're trying to figure out what happened last night. And that's one of the reasons we're here today. We really want people to come forward and tell us what happened. We need that information.
Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
It is the scandal that's rocked much of Doug Ford's time as Premier. Ford said he was sorry about his plan to open the Greenbelt and promised to earn back our trust. Now, the province appears to be months behind on a mandatory review of the protected lands. And CBC Queen's Park reporter Sean Jeffers has found that process has not even started yet. So, Sean, what's meant to be happening with the Greenbelt right now, and how sensitive is this topic to the Ford government, considering the past controversy?
Well, Dwight, I think it's it's fair to say it's a very controversial subject. It remains a sensitive issue with the Ford government. But we are now at the 20th anniversary of the creation of the Greenbelt Plan, the legislation that created the Greenbelt itself. And in that legislation, there is a clause that requires a mandatory review of the bill every 10 years, of the law. We are now at the second review. That is supposed to take place in 2025. And the government has, it appears, not started that second review. Now, you'll recall, Dwight, as you mentioned off the top, this is a topic that's been a great controversy for the Ford government for some time. In 2022, the government said it would reopen the Greenbelt for development, all in a bid to try to build more housing to reach that 1.5 million homes goal it had set for itself, but got a lot of pushback. 2 watchdogs the legislature investigated found that the process was biased towards a small group of developers, and then there were resignations. The Minister of Municipal Affairs, most notably Steve Clark, was forced to step down in that resulting scandal, and the RCMP are investigating. So this is still a very sensitive file for the government, and potentially the opposition says explains some of the delay here.
The fewer times the word Greenbelt is uttered in public, the better for them. And let's face it, we've been watching the legislation they've brought forward. They don't like consultation. They've acted very, let's say, energetically to make sure that people didn't get a chance to talk about legislation that was coming forward.
So, Dwight, that was NDP environment critic Peter Tabuns, who is asking for a fulsome consultation, meeting with communities who are in the Greenbelt, Indigenous groups, and members of the public to express their views on the Greenbelt and how it could be preserved and changed.
Well, Sean, you've made a Freedom of Information request for documents. What did you find?
So, Dwight, the documents are effectively briefing notes for incoming Minister of Municipal Affairs Rob Flack. They show that the government should have started this review on February 28th of this year. And as of March, when Flack took the portfolio, the review hadn't begun. There was some initial research done by the civil service here in Ontario just to talk a little bit about process and how the review could take place. But the documents also explore the Greenbelt Council, which is this advisory group, which is key to the review. The civil service points out to the minister that there is only one member on this council at this point. There should be 10, and the government has to reappoint to repopulate this committee. But that one member, even still, her term ends on June 24th. So the status of the review and the Greenbelt Council composition are a bit of an unknown right now.
Sean, any response from the province about all of this?
No, Dwight. I asked the Minister of Municipal Affairs office for comment on this, and they did not respond to a request about the status of the Greenbelt review or the Greenbelt Council compositions. So environmental groups and opposition critics are saying they are going to hold the government's feet to the fire on this review, though.
And we'll keep on top of that. Thank you, Sean Jeffords at Queen's Park.